Let's get it. Welcome to the Dear Son Show. We have meaningful conversations about life through the lens of fatherhood. It's for fathers, those with fathers, and the fatherless, so nobody's left out. These are the stories we want our sons to access as they grow through life, so no conversations are off limits. I'm one of your hosts, D. Johns.
I'm your other host, Jay Black.
Jay Black, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. We knee deep in the summer.
You know where you at? you know what country you in right now?
Barely, man.
Yeah.
Barely. It's been that kind of summer, though, man. We feet are moving.
Yeah, I was about to say, feet been shuffling.
Feet are moving, man. We did Orlando, got that out.
Dope.
We knocked out Mexico.
Okay.
Got 3 more to go. Get this old boy off to college next week. At the time of this, but I say that, but we live, you know.
Yeah.
We
it'll be out. It'll be out before.
Yeah, that's why I say we hitting.
Yeah,
we hitting. What you got?
Man, I've been getting to it, man. Been getting serious about content output.
Man,
even if we're not recording as much, I was using that as a crutch. Like, I ain't got nothing new. Man, I went through some episodes I had never clipped up. So I got the clips loaded and
we got that catalog.
They coming out, man. Yeah. So I'm dealing with the behind the scenes frustrations with the platform. Some platforms you put out 10 clips, they might show 1.
Yep.
Then the other platforms they show all of them. TikTok is weird. Said if you ain't following us on TikTok, I'm podcast_pops. He's at J Black, JEYBLAC.
Yes, sir.
On TikTok. Get with us over there. TikTok has been more favorable to the content and letting some things go. Few hundred thousand views on a couple of them, which is not big to a lot of people. But it's just encouraging more for me about the community that I see, with people providing feedback, getting in the conversation. So I know that what we're doing is stimulating conversation. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's get right into the conversation today, man. I just made a post this morning, so it hit me, and the post was, do you allow your friend circle to discipline your child?
Mm-hmm.
How you feel about that?
I'm open to it.
How you feel about that?
I'm open to it. I'm open to it because my friend circle, I trust them.
That's the heart of the matter.
Yeah, it's all about trust.
Yeah.
You know, so the real root of the question is, what do you call a friend, and what do you allow exposure and access to your family and your circle?
We're gonna get to
it. Yeah,
that's what the whole thing was about. Because it's more of a testament to who you are and what your character attracts and defends and repels. So let's get into it, man. I started thinking about how I grew up and the conversations I had with my parents about how they grew up. So I came from a generation of, if I see my parents' friends in public, I'm adjusting to what they expect of my parents' child in public. And having children at that age that are moving out, feet shuffling in this world.
Yeah.
And I see who they bring around. I'm gauging them that same way. I'm like, man, 2 parts of it is I'm judging your parents by how you acting around me. I get when you're with your friends and y'all think y'all moving and grooving and nobody looking. I get that. I'm not that corny of a of an old head to think that doesn't happen.
Right.
But do you actually have respect for me as an adult, whether you know me or not? Because that's the other thing. I'm not friends with my children's friends to the most part. I mean, a couple of exceptions, but by and large, who they run with, I can't necessarily pick up the phone and say, hey, they at your house?
Right.
It ain't like that with the majority of the crew.
Right.
What was it like for you growing up?
Same. Like, it was understood. It was unspoken, but it was a look, a glare of, I wish you would.
Right.
Because everything was, I don't care what you were doing. As a child, you get offended by it. It's like, it's not even on you.
Yeah.
But as an adult, you realize it's absolutely on you.
Yeah.
When they say, man, you at that school embarrassing me? Yeah. Like, no, me. Yeah. I got loose at the school. They talking to me. They talking to me through you. Yeah. That was the thing. So I as a child, you don't get that initially until you really understand what's being said.
Yeah.
And back then, when I was a kid, our childhood, you didn't get explanations. It's not, I don't have to explain to you why this is important.
Right.
Just know that it's important and move that way.
Yeah.
So that's the piece that we take that mentality, but we build on it.
Yeah.
We do express the portion of it, of why this is important, so that you do know this is why you're doing it.
Yeah.
You still better do it, but this is why. So hopefully, if you have a better understanding of it, it sticks. And you're not waiting till you think someone's not looking to not do that thing because you understand the reason you're doing it. It may hold, and that now becomes your character.
Yeah.
More so than you just trying to act that way because eyes are on you. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you said that because it brings up a point about how do we convey the consequences of you doing or not doing what we say do.
Yes.
We talked about it before. I've been clear. I just started posting some clips recently of old conversations about how we feel about discipline.
Yes.
Like the whole discipline for correction, not for control. I've moved away from physically disciplining my children because I led with that, but it wasn't because they needed it.
Right.
It was because of what I experienced, what my parents experienced, and probably what their parents experienced, but it didn't necessarily need it.
Right.
I don't fault my parents because I pushed the line.
Yeah.
And I'm the youngest, right? So my sister didn't get it. She swear. She don't swear, but she's there's a
come on now.
folklore about her being disciplined physically.
Don't do this. We've heard about the 2:30 in the morning.
Well, I mean that's
curfew for you now. Come on.
That's again.
Don't do
right?
it like
if
that.
that. If I was a child that needed discipline, maybe that's what it led to.
I wasn't trying to give him a alley-oop on you.
Maybe that's what it led to. It led to that trust. I don't know. I can't connect the dots right now.
Yeah.
Maybe after in a post I'll be able to connect the dots. But how do you? I guess what's been your journey in connecting the dots with the discipline of do as I say, and here's what happened when you don't, especially if it's not the fear of ducking,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Or your body contorting because they came in and woke you up out the bed or caught you coming out the shower.
Yeah.
Like that was a real thing, young pups.
Yeah.
Young children, be grateful. We didn't just get internet turned off. I don't even know what.
No.
I have children. I don't even know what moves them right now.
Nothing.
Right now.
Nothing. Honestly, I learned a lesson about that not too long back because my oldest in the house, I haven't physically disciplined him in years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't take that with him.
Doesn't need it.
A conversation and you'll swear you thrashed him with the right conversation.
Right.
And I don't use words to try to hurt him.
Yeah.
I'm just stern enough to, like, I don't sugarcoat the consequence of this leads to this.
Yeah. I'm
constantly like, man, you're going to be living under a bridge and I'm going to bring you chicken every Friday and I'll eat it with you and I'll leave. So I have,
I'll leave.
So I have,
this is your home.
Yeah. So I have life consequence conversations with him, but the littles, I still have to get with them every now and then, once a year.
Yeah.
Because the conversations, they'll stack and add on until this falling on deaf ears now. So now you have to be a bit more stern.
Yeah.
And then there's levels, obviously. You already know, mad scientist, too smart for his own good.
Take over the world.
He slipped into a fabricating phase. Oh, he was a little liar.
Welcome.
Right quick.
Yeah.
So I was like, nah, we don't do this.
Yeah.
No, sir. Like this will get you thrashed. Like if you did something, there's a 50-50 chance that there may be a punishment associated with it or just a conversation. It's 50-50.
Right.
If you lie to me, 100% you're getting the consequence.
Yeah.
Play the game.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
Yeah.
So psychologists are now saying that the more harsh or stern the consequence, you're actually creating the lie because now they're not lying because they're liars. Self-preservation.
To avoid.
I have to avoid this at all costs.
Yeah.
I'm taking this to the grave if need be. I'm so fearful of that consequence, I dare not even tell the truth because I don't know. That 50, though it's a 50-50.
That coin.
If the 50
heads and tails
is horrible.
Yeah.
Like you think you're letting them off the hook by saying it may be a conversation, it may be consequence. Well, in their eyes, if they've seen the consequence and it's drastic or it's extreme every single time, I don't want I'm not even taking the risk of trying to see if the consequence is going to hit the table because it's going to be so horrendous.
So how do you and I'm like, this whole thing is taking I'm gonna try to stay on track, but the thoughts that are running through my head now is like, how do you establish the baseline of an appropriate consequence to where it has room to grow and get more dire, or, consequences get greater, but also doesn't set a tone for them where if the consequence is you have to sit in the corner for 15 minutes to start with, how do you get to a consequence that really means something, right? And then when you jump from that 15 minutes to taking something away that's more valuable to them and they crashing out because I thought it was only gonna be this 15 minutes in the corner. Like how do you manage the growth? Because I get it. If you go too hard, too fast, you get when I gotta calculate how to not find myself in this situation. It may not change my behavior as the child, right? But whatever happens, I'm going, like you said, self-preservation. I'm gonna do whatever to avoid coming into contact with this consequence. So what do you? and I'm thinking through me because I started wham bam. Yeah. I didn't really with my son, my oldest son. Yeah. My youngest son will probably grow up and thank my oldest son. Yeah. If he got any sense. If he got any sense. Yeah. And probably the daughters I couldn't. Anyway. Yeah. But like I was over the top because all I knew to me was this is the way. Yeah. It won't until my dad said a beating is no longer for you because at this point we got to square up. Yeah. Like you me beating you are almost a man and having to take that. It got to change. And that's what it changed for me. Yeah. But what I knew was the beating. Yeah. When I did stuff, I wasn't scared of not being able to go outside for 2 days. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. Yeah, it was, I take my shower real fast. Smoke might be coming. Yeah. Come on. So severity is key. Yeah. I try to be mindful of the delivery because I told you don't get the snacks, you snuck a snack. I don't want to treat that as though somebody's life was on the line. Gotcha. I try to make sure the message is conveyed that, listen, I'm telling you this for a reason. You don't know the reason, but in society, in my household is the society. That's what you know at this stage and phase of your life. But I'm trying to give you principles and a foundation that when you do get out in the world, you can mimic that thing. So now if society frowns upon you doing a certain thing, there's levels of severity to the consequence, right? Yeah. Even breaking the law, a speeding ticket versus DUI. Boy. Or jaywalking versus homicide. You see what I mean? So I have to make sure that the term that they use is the punishment fits the crime, right? Yeah. So now if you take a snack, now I have to say, okay, well, you just can't have any snacks for the next week. Okay, that's drastic. Like, man, that didn't cause you any bodily harm. I'm a goldfish. But I'm neglecting your desire for that thing because you overindulged when you were not supposed to. Right. Well, now when the severities come where now there's a character flaw, like, son, if you go out in life and do this thing, you're not ready for the consequences that'll bring. I have to heavily discourage that. Yeah. Theft. Yeah. Taking life, things of that nature. If I see things coming along that way that you're trying to connive, you're trying to get over, you're trying to be a manipulator or a con. Yeah. I have to heavily double down on those things so that you can say, he really don't act like this. Yeah. So if he's acting this way about this, I need to pay close attention to what this is because this is important. I don't ever want to do this again. I don't want him in that mode. I don't want my mom in that mode with me like this. So whatever this is, so now that's the importance of the communication. Because again, our day versus don't ever do that again, thrash. Yeah. Now, the discussion, the thrash, if that's what it is, the discussion during the thrash, and then now there has to be a post. Yeah. You have to come back and say, listen, do you really truly understand what just happened and why? Yeah. And now don't just ask them and allow them to say, yes, I do. Tell me, what was the importance of that? Where did you go wrong? Why should you or should you not do that? And do you think you would do that again? You have to have that whole full circle of conversation beginning to end. And don't be angry in that moment now, because now you're further discouraging the kid or the child or the daughter, the son from having a candid, genuine conversation about it. Like, honestly, tell me how you feel about it. Do you think I overreacted for you doing this thing? And they'll tell you, I really think that was over the top. I don't see what the big deal is. Perfect.
Because now that's a gateway to a real life conversation about it. I'm glad you told me that.
Yeah.
Because there's some more unpacking I got to do with this problem.
Yeah. I did the PWCs, the post whipping conversation.
Yeah.
Boy, I hated them coming up, but I appreciate them now because I can say that I never was disciplined and didn't understand the nature of it.
Right.
Whether I agreed with it or not in the moment it wasn't really up to me, but my parents had enough maturity to connect the dots in that regard. You said something about speeding ticket versus speeding ticket versus taking a life. The slippery slope that we can create is coming to mind because I go down these rabbit holes of YouTube. I start watching the thing and then I start watching the thing.
Yeah.
Last time I talked about it, I was watching documentaries on gangs in different areas. Mm-hmm. Now my thing is arrest videos, traffic videos, body cam videos. Yes. And what I see is, and this is not the discussion of improperly profiling or was it a valid reason of pulling over. I'm going to get to that because I told you I want to have a conversation about this on comply, but I want to bring in somebody that represents that and have that conversation. But what I see in the videos, and I know the videos doesn't represent all of everything that happens, but consistently, no matter the race, age, or gender, there you go. There's this defiance of, you can't tell me what to do. I didn't do that. Prove that I did that. And I'm looking at it through the lens of how I grew up. And I'm like, how do you, again, not that there aren't corrupt officers and not that there aren't people that actually commit crimes, because God forbid you actually get caught doing something that you did.
Yes.
But the slippery slope is officer approaches to have a conversation and they go into immediate buck mode. And I'm thinking back, like, we started a conversation about me seeing my parents' friends in public. Like, those are the kinds of things that I would be thinking if I got pulled up. I'm like, man, I'm wondering who's going to ride by and see me. It's like that whole thought process or reverence for having respect for another generation, whether it's your parents or not, is gone.
Right.
And the consequences go from a citation to getting booked, getting tased, getting all these things because for whatever reason, there's not enough self-respect to manage how you act in public. And again, I know for y'all comfort, I know people have prior experiences that weren't favorable.
Correct.
Right. So they have that in their catalog and they react a certain way.
Correct.
That could be valid, but the consequences of now are still the consequences of now. You can look back after and say, well, that person has been arrested 3 times falsely and got beat. Got it. Deal with that. That's an issue. Systemic. Got it. In that moment, they created something based on that lens that still gave them unreasonable consequences in that moment.
Yes.
Those are the things that I'm concerned about. Like, if my child gets pulled over, I'm like, is one of my childs them? One of my child is one of my children them?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because again, it's there's a way you act around me, and then there's a way you act in public. Another part of the context, and I think this is true for you. I lived in the same place for the same city. In a long time. So you would go out and see the same people. My parents were in church, like they were active. So you would, if you go on the food line, I'm probably running the sister so-and-so.
I promise.
Now my kids don't have that.
No.
Because we moved away from what was normal for me and what was home for me, and we moved around a lot. So they don't have that expectation. Well, I mean, maybe now with you and God and Avalon catch my oldest all the time.
Yeah.
But hey, I talked to her. I think she's good, but they don't have that. We're building that now. So again, like the whole village thing, for whatever reason you don't have that, I know that there's a difference between how you act around me and what you test about what I said is right in public, because we go through that.
Right. And to tie the two together, the compliance and the law enforcement, the pull over, the village, two things that are very important and detrimental, if you will, for them to understand is in the moment, you're not equipped and you don't have the perceived authority to challenge what's going on being said. You can be very right. You could absolutely win that battle, but lose that war. Relax, let it roll. Don't allow yourself to be violated or hand yourself over. But in both scenarios, if the village is chastising you about something, it's not in your best interest to go back word for word with this adult. Right. Because now if you were right, you're now wrong. And now whatever went
different set of consequences.
I don't even want to hear what the problem was anymore, because now my total focus is on your reaction was so inappropriate that who cares what the original problem was. We'll get to that later. But you just turned a molehill into a mountain. Yeah. You know what I mean? So now if you're being chastised, if you've pulled over, and if you meet this person with aggression, you meet this person with disdain, and you don't even know, you didn't even
said a word. Yeah.
The person walk up to you and say,
you know why I pulled you over?
I pulled you over. And now you take that as your opportunity to go absolutely bonkers.
Buck City. I look at it. I'm looking at the videos as a parent, and I'm getting infuriated with. I don't enjoy seeing them get pulled out of the car. So chill. Right. It's not. I don't enjoy seeing them getting tased. I watched the entirety of it because I'm like, man, it was only this.
And even if you do, you don't. That's the other side of the coin. Even if you do, you don't. Who knows? I don't know, sir, why. We're just doing welfare checks in the area. We want to make sure everybody's good. Ooh, I thought the boss finna get me for this expired registration. I don't know what it is, but let's spill over.
And if it is
that, if it is, teachers, I've seen students go left on teachers like that, or any authority, other adults. We've been to sporting events, and an adult, it could be a staff of the school, it could be the higher ups that come out from the district. It could just be another parent that's simply trying to mold you, young person, to be a better person. You're sitting behind a row of adults, 15, 20 kids, high school children, at a sporting event in the stands, and one adult has had enough of you guys just act as though these adults aren't sitting right here, and turn around and say, hey, you guys may want to be mindful of the adults that are sitting near, or the little kids that are near that can hear you. And you might not want your image to be what you're not. You know, maybe if your parents were here, I've seen those students go left about it. But the crazy thing is you can look at the whole crowd. It's not all of them. It'll be two hotheads. Think they supposed to rebut every word that comes out of this adult's mouth about you wrong, but you want to defend yourself in this moment. But you'll see, you can look at the faces of some of the others. They're shamed and uncomfortable now, because the trigger word was, if your parents were here, would you do this? So now that's the importance of that village. Sometimes the village is your community, because there's a certain standard that takes place in a community, and you're hoping it could be a church event or whatever you're at. If the community, if there's someone with a like set of morals as to yours in the environment or in the crowd that just happens to just drop a nugget on these kids and say, hey guys, y'all a little edgy right now for the environment that you're in. That's a nice way of saying, you know, you wouldn't act like that if your parents were here. That's a village move. And your kids need to understand, like, mold your children, because I do. Hey man, if an adult gives you some sensible guidance, it's not for you to say, I'm not doing that. You don't know me. I don't know you. I don't have to listen to that. Sound advice is sound advice. Never mind the source. If you hear the words, if you close your eyes, and that could possibly have been me or your mom saying that exact same thing, because you'll recognize it. You know it's right. You need to be paying attention to that.
And the fact that you're saying it don't make it true.
No.
Even if you believe in it, like stand with the traffic, pullovers, you were doing 54 and the 35. No, I wasn't. Prove it.
It's not the place.
It's a do loop, and it's not the place. But when you get programmed, and I think that programming happens, it didn't happen when they got in the car and went out that day. That thing grew over time, that became the standard of how they react to either people in general or a certain set of people. But those principles came from somewhere, and you gotta be mindful of them. So stand on that topic in terms of you said having similar principles. Like what's important. How do you choose friends now? Because 25 year ago me would probably say, this is my friend, but I don't do this with them. This is my friend. Well, we only like in this context right here. I know they got some other stuff with them.
Yeah.
But it was single me, not 20, 25 in my math. Yeah, 25 for sure.
Math that up?
Yeah. And it ain't even about single in that term, but in terms of people around me impacting my family.
Gotcha.
Impacting the family. You know what I'm saying? So in that sense, not wild stuff.
Right.
Wild stuff had its place, but that's not what we're talking about. But it was because it was just me.
Yes.
And I was an adult. I was doing adult things.
Yeah.
Jury's still out on when I actually became an adult. I could say, yeah, this my boy, but I know he got some stuff with him. I just don't be with that stuff. Today, all that stuff matter.
Yeah, all of it.
The whole of who you are matter, even if it's a small percent of your life that I wouldn't agree with in any circumstance. The rest of the good part of you, acquaintance. Yo, what up? Keep it moving. But in terms of coming in my house and being around, like how do you approach that?
I'm the same on that to an extent, because again, there are pods, right? Like, this my motorcycle crew, this my hangout crew, this my family, these my brothers that like.
I'm talking more about that.
Yeah, the brother side, right? So now that it's a matter of you would leave your children around these people. Let that be right. That takes. You're saying like people that I meet, like new people.
How do they get to that space where, like, how do we qualify the
interaction?
People?
Like a level of interaction to where I've seen your authentic, genuine viewpoint with your children, with your family, your values.
Yeah.
Because you can fake it for so long.
For sure.
Who you truly are comes out. So because I've been in multiple different situations and scenarios, I've seen things that have aggravated you or ticked you off or rubbed you the wrong way. And the way you handled it, you still was a human being.
Yeah.
You understand? Because now I know that you have compassion and you have patience, you have self-control. That's the biggest thing. Trustworthiness and self-control.
Yeah.
And you only know that by being around a person. Like, a person you can't tell me you're the most loyal person. You can't tell me you're trustworthy. You're not allowed to tell me those things about yourself. I'm honest. Stop right there. I got it.
Certainly.
Right. So now the interaction, the level of interaction, the quality, listening to the conversation, doing more listening than talking, meaning the suggestions being made. That people don't understand everything means something. Like, if you like, hey man,
especially the meaningless things to them.
Yeah. Yes. They're like, man, let's just go do this. Like, whoa. I don't roll like that, but also I see you.
Yeah.
I see your character. Got it. Now, I don't judge you, but again, we're talking about distinguishing between you're an acquaintance or you're family. Like, I don't just bring any and everybody around my house and my kids and family and my friends, my circle. Like, that circle, people you've met that people have not seen or met, and that's by design.
Right.
You know, so now when people come around, people know that. Like, that's almost a stamp for my household, because my wife is the same way. They be like they'll, if certain friends invite us over, they'll jokingly say, hey, there's some people over here y'all haven't met. So now they know.
What time they leaving?
Right. We'll pull up, but my guard is up.
Yeah.
To an extent. Like, don't have me coming with my guard down, and now perhaps a presentation of me and my family, we wouldn't have come that way. Like my wife may come with some pajama pants on, with some slides.
Right.
And my kids, they might have their pajamas on because we just going to y'all crib. But we get there and now there's 3-4 groups of people that are there that aren't in that circle.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have represented ourselves that way. So that kind of thing. And I know that's kind of off the leave my kids with them thing, but that all of that matters and makes sense. There was even I don't want to call it a rift. There was a misunderstanding with a close friend before on that very thing. Mind you, after we did meet the people, they were great. They were amazing, but you can't dump that on us like that without a conversation or the interaction about it.
Yeah.
And that's very sacred to my household of who has that level of exposure to my family, my house, my friends, my children. That means something. And if I trust you and you violate that trust by bringing somebody in that has not been vetted and welcomed in, I question you now. So now you just placed yourself on the outside of that circle with that person. Obviously, you have the capacity to work your way back in, but that was a severe transgression towards, in my opinion, I view it as such. You crossed the line, man. I don't play like that.
Yeah, and I think it's as your children get a certain age, and I don't know what the age is, which makes it even more imperative to be mindful of who you have them around. Mm-hmm. You're teaching them what you accept.
Yes.
So even if you're a way in the house, but then you get around this group of people and you're a totally different way, or you're accepting of people that act a totally different way, how do they differentiate between that?
Yes.
Well, Dad, you're not like that, but you sit right next to people that are absolutely like that.
Right.
So that, that kind of helps them, informs them on how they determine their friends. Well, I ain't on that. And the whole, like the example you gave about the kids being at the game, I would suggest that our kids would be the ones looking like that, looking kind of like, this is embarrassing that you're representing yourself, but that proximity can get you the same consequences.
Absolutely.
Because if a group comes together, the group is together.
Yeah. On one accord.
If the group comes together and 3 of them start throwing haymakers at the people I'm with, the other 12 are fair game because that's a representation. Well, I ain't even, no, hold on. We ain't got time to evaluate this. The group as represented set it off.
They're attacking us. And I got to get you.
Everybody's fair game.
Absolutely.
So it's those are the things. I was having a conversation with one of my partners yesterday about angst, releasing our kids into the adults into the world. He's like, man, you did a good job. And we got to the point where it was like, it's not so much about the job that was done in this house.
Yes.
I don't know the jobs that were done in the other houses that built these humans that my humans are around.
Correct.
And what consequences they will bring to my children.
Yes.
And I get it. It's fair game to say what consequences my children bring to them. But those are the things that concern me now. And it's not like, I keep saying my son don't have no stories. I don't want him to have no stories. I don't want him to be in certain situations, but I don't want him to fall into a situation and not be able to manage the situation because he's never been in that situation. I know that's a lot of double talk. It's like, I don't want to send you into this, but if you find out a characteristic about your friend, that you hadn't seen before, in that moment could create a different outcome of life for you.
True.
And you vetted them to the best of your ability, but your maturity level and things you're able to evaluate being around them and have conversations. But now y'all get into the situation. And pum. Like I've had people jump in the car with me before. Mm-hmm. With me before, something popped off and now we got to get out of there, but they have a gun. And typically the first thing they're going to do is take it. It's going under somebody's seat
it's not on me.
And if you operate in the vehicle
it's
now, right? We've never been in this situation before. I never would have thought this person would have done that.
Correct.
Or maybe I knew. I ain't gonna put it, maybe I knew that this person had a gun, but I never thought we'd be in this situation.
Right.
And now you're in this situation, and the proximity of it, now you got some real decisions to make. Snitch culture, you can say what you want about it, but in some environments, it has real consequences.
Yes.
I'm gonna leave it there.
Yes.
Right. And that becomes a life decision because now you got to be honorable to society or honorable to the thieves. Now you got to move. But now the whole family, like those are the kinds of things that I think about. Like, man, what am I in my extension, the village that I've created for them to look up to? did they see me respect created in terms of what they believe is right in life and how they should live it?
Absolutely. Yeah, because based on that, I try to give visuals because I'm a visual learner.
Yeah.
So I talk to them about life is like a factor tree. Like every segment and portion of your life, and friendships as well, relationships as well, and nothing's off limits.
Yeah.
It's like a factor tree. You come up to a fork in the road, you can go left or you go right. Yeah. Every turn that you make, there's another left, right somewhere. Yeah. It's forks in the road. Yeah. There's going to be portions of or segments of that journey. Y'all could have started at point A and you made it all the way to the midpoint. Y'all 20 years in, and now for whatever reason, a left and a right is made. And you look up and now your passengers, your co-parts, if you will, that have been by your side for every turn of the way throughout this time, y'all not on the same page anymore.
Yeah.
There may be turns later in life where y'all find yourselves back on the same path. Or if you do not, you just do not. That's not a tragic event or circumstance to where you have to be miserable about it. Everything happens for a reason. Yeah. Like whatever that journey is, something, perhaps you're being protected from something, maybe they're being protected from something, or they can't reach their full potential on this side of that tree and you can't on that side of the tree. But if you go your separate directions, now you both can be. Yeah. And now you're clinging to a thing that's your hindrance. It's an anchor. It's holding you down from your max potential because you're still saying, come on, make this left with me. I can't. The right side is calling me right now. And it's just not in my best interest for that side to be associated with what I got going on right now, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Like some people they were absolutely thriving in the single life world. They're meant to be an individual. I kid you not, man, I have a ridiculously close relative. He's single to this day.
Yeah.
But he moves in a way that I can afford to risk it all, because if it falls apart, I'll sleep on somebody's couch for 3 weeks and get my feet back on me. And I'm gonna hit the ground running again. I cannot move that way.
Right.
Too much on the line. Too many people outside of myself are responsible for my decisions. The consequence falls on them as well as me. So it has to be more guarded. It has to be more strategic. I can't just gamble or roll the dice or jump out. I'm gonna dive off this building right quick and see how it turn out. If not, go just crash with somebody.
Yeah. If only.
Right.
What does it take for you to cut somebody off at this stage? Because like you said, we've been rocking 20, 30. I mean, that's 30 years is nothing.
Right.
Like for me, that's 15, 16. Like that's the people that when they come to town and you meet them, and that's another thing that is confirmation that you're part of my village. Like it's like you have to meet these people.
Yeah.
These people have to meet you.
Yes.
Because this is like all of y'all are a representation of what I value.
Yes.
So y'all got to meet. But
yes,
like when you get to those points of like life, whatever life through at 40, 45, like what does it take for you to cut somebody off?
You jeopardize me or my family. Mm-hmm. You in crash out mode. You just don't mean me any good. Like everything is all your movements are about yourself. You're looking at me opportunistically, and if every conversation we have is strictly about contacts, connections, money and business, and that's a turnoff for me. Like I don't criticize people that are that way, but if you're that way, like sun up
under the guise of being
right, friendship, like we friends, man. This is my brother. Yeah. Hey man, what's a little move we can do to get this money? Okay, let's have progressive conversations about things. But if it's, man, don't you know somebody that, man, don't you guys have hey, the last 10 times in a row that you've talked to me,
only been about this.
It's never about, hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Right.
How's the family? How's the kids?
Right.
You can't name my children. If you can't name my children by name, what we talking about?
Quick aside. One of the headlines of this week is the Nick Cannon couldn't name all of his kids.
Oh, come on.
It was funny.
So there you have it.
But it's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. So and things get weird. Like I kid you not, man. We're very transparent on this show. I have lifelong friendships with brothers that I feel like I'm in a rough patch with a couple of them right now. No disdain. We're not into it or had any disagreements. It's just dry. It's very, very dry. Energy. And it's hard because you'll look at, you know how you'll really know a person. So because you know a person, sometimes the downside of really knowing a person is that you really know a person.
That you really know a person.
So I can't pull the wool over anybody's eyes and they can't do it to me. So now if I know that, and this platform is an example, right? We have the shows popping and pushing, and total strangers, man, walk up in stores. I told you about the brother that I met, just walked up and he just kept looking. And
yeah. It's weird.
So come up and tell me who he, man, you're on a show that I watch all the time. That means a lot.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. But then you'll have, I'm gonna shoot the slug. I don't care.
Get to it.
We had a mutual friend that did like a.
You saying we? Me and you? We?
No. Me and the friend.
Okay.
Me and this other friend have a mutual friend. He's closer to the guy than I am.
Yeah.
Let's say he did a cupcake bake sale, and the guy was like, "Man, I gotta sell this 50 cupcakes." And this other brother was like, "You can do it, man. Come on, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna help you, man. I'm gonna put the word out. I'm gonna spread the word. I'm gonna create this and use my influence to spread the word and tell people that come buy a cupcake, come buy a cupcake." You haven't said to me one time, like, what's up with the platform, man? What we can do to push this thing or grow this thing? You understand? So I don't hold a grudge about that. But me as a human being, I would be lying if I sat here and said that don't look a certain way. Like, I don't expect friends and family to support, but it sure does hit differently when they do not. Because 90% of them do. They call, text, watch, support, like, share, subscribe. They do all of these things. They'll call me and say, "Man, I saw the last episode," or they'll interact, engage. My friendship is not based on you have to do that.
Yeah.
But if we're the friends, family, brothers that we claim we are, and for us to have been on this platform 2+ years, easily 3.
It's 4 for me.
4 for you. Yeah. Let's say 2 to 3 for me. Yeah. And you haven't said a word once, my brother. That doesn't sit quite well with me buying into put my life on the line for you, brother. I love you to the point where we're brothers, we're family, it don't sit right. It don't hit the same now, because now there are, again, it's not a attack. You don't have to.
Yeah.
You can never say a word about it, and we're friendship is intact.
Let me cut in. But so if that's not the person, if that's not who you are, don't be that across the board.
Right. There you go.
But if you picking and choosing, you look left and you look right, and I'm on the right, but you only look left when you got this, when this part of you is in mode.
Yeah.
Full support, full steam. Rock with my boy.
You like, share, subscribe, and bake sales and Peloton goals. You understand? And groups that are, I don't want to say they're not important and they're not monumental. Those things are important to these guys and these people and so forth, and it should be.
So we transparent. I'm already down the petty slope. The petty part of me says, if that's you, I'm not cutting you off.
No. I
categorize you different, but you don't get to ask me about it when you see me in person. How your show doing? How is my show doing?
Tell me.
What did what'd you think about it? That part.
I get it.
Yeah.
It is weird.
And I salute my guys. Several show support consistently in a way.
Yes.
Consistently in a way. So
majority saying, like, I'm talking about the majority. Jay Black, hey, boy, this here, this, and interacting and not just throwing it. They coming and repeating things. I almost have to go back and be like, wait, what was that? What part? What you said?
Yeah.
Because they're in tune and it's hitting like that. And I enjoy that. Yeah. And I don't mind it. Like I say, we don't. Yeah. That's another day, another show.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny that came up because I was, Yeah. Those were my shower thoughts this morning.
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird. Like.
Yeah. Anyhow, good, sweet spot on timing. I mean, I guess the closing thoughts is like your village is important.
Village is important. That's right in line with that.
My village, the qualifier for me is I have to be able to trust you to discipline my child. Just tying it to what the show topic was.
Yes.
For me to call you part of my village, there's plenty of people I know.
Yes.
Plenty of people I know.
Plenty.
And I say what's up, and if we cross paths or intentionally, unintentionally, it's all good.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about, because I know you in a way and you know me in a way, we have an expectation of my child.
Right. Yes.
Now, I'm not saying we have a mutual responsibility, but Johns don't represent that. Johnsons don't represent that. They ain't on that.
Immediately see it, catch it, stop it, and take it far as it need to go, because I know who you are and what you stand for. Yeah.
Do y'all got a village? If you made it this far into the episode, comment what it takes for people to be in your village. Our village is important. Can somebody discipline your child? That's the part that we dig into, because we're in this quasi generation of, just because we're the same age, I don't know that I can have an expectation that you were raised the same way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like it's like I know people who have parents that are much younger than my parents. So they're more brother and sister, big sis with their parents, because they were growing up at the same time.
Yeah.
So it for that, and I'm not saying that that's unique to this generation, but I'm like, those types of things are becoming clearer to me. Like, okay. That makes more sense now.
Yeah.
Why we're not aligned in this part of life, because your reference was much different than mine.
Right.
Maybe you had more leniency, or maybe, that kind of thing. So it's like you talking about the school example.
Mm-hmm.
And I had one of the educators, Carvel Dangerfield, was on here. We were talking about what happens in class.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the parents come in on 10 to defend their child.
Correct.
If my parents had to come to the school for it was already because of me, even if it ain't. Because if it was somebody else's last name, they wouldn't be calling my parents. So how I had closing this example. I was on a field trip one time, and I went to a bunch of small schools, private schools, when I was younger, because my parents felt that was important. Not because they had the resources. We actually cleaned one of the schools to offset my school costs.
Right.
For reference.
Right.
This is not Silver Spoon. But it wasn't a lot of blacks in this. I think it was actually, like, including my sister, I think we were 2 of the 10 in a school of maybe 200 or something like that.
Yeah.
And this is 7th through 12th grade. The school was broken up like that. We're going on a field trip. My partner at the time, you couldn't tell me nothing about him. And I forget his name now, so he won't. He guess he was expendable in the grand scheme of life. We're on this field trip, and we're on a bus. And, there's always an interest in a young lady.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to find it.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Even if they don't look like you, you're going to find it.
Correct.
My experience, right? Yeah. So that was this girl of interest. And she won the 7th grade. So I don't know what responsibility does she have to actually be interested in anybody? But we went to lunch, came back, got on the bus, and we got on the bus before her. And I'm exposing the demographic dynamics there. He hawks a loogie. I don't know how many of your brothers say that. He hawks a loogie, spits on her cup, shakes it up, puts it down. I see it. I'm like, man.
Wow. Yeah.
She drinks it. Somehow it became evident that he did it. I don't know if he jokingly said, I forgot how I got to the actual admission of guilt.
Right.
I was just sitting with him.
See?
But I saw and didn't say. You see something, say something. I saw and didn't say. And I got in trouble for it. Yeah. Like it all matters.
All matters.
It all matters. But again, just, picking friends, and that was specifically very nasty. And I apologize to her. She was actually very, at the time.
Yeah.
At the time. I don't know what her life is doing right now, but yeah, that was a aside. But anyhow, pick your friends.
Pick your friends.
Your children are watching.
Yeah.
I hope people have a village. I'm grateful for mine. Like,
thank God.
Moving to this house, I don't know that we would still be in Texas if we didn't move here.
Man.
I come across y'all and like, I don't know.
Appreciate that. That mean a lot.
Because it was either here or I always blank on the place, the neighborhood in Fort Worth, the school district, because that's what we were looking at.
Yeah.
Like Mansfield or this other one.
Yeah.
And boy, I tell you, I was heartbroken that we didn't get the first crib we were pursuing out there. But the more I thought about it, I was like, I've been around it. I don't see none of us. None of us. And
it's pockets.
It's not a qualifier that it got to be, but I didn't see none of us. Yeah. I was like, man, imagine having this reference of life to this point. I'm like, nah. As soon as the end, I'm gonna tell you.
It will. It's no lie, go.
Yeah. But anyhow, man, what closing thoughts you got, bro?
That's it. It always goes back to two things, man. Being mindful and at what cost.
Yep.
No matter what it is, if you really think about it and look at it and dissect it, one of those two things will surface. So that's what we got.
Can't part without saying this. Dear Son, 20 Life Prompts to Facilitate Effective Parenting is a physical book. It is available for order. Link is in whatever description is associated with the app or YouTube, however you're watching it. My wife's book, Chocolate Princess Volume 1. If you're watching, you see the overlay now. If you're listening, very, very, very well written, very well illustrated children's book for young women, your young scholars of color, I would say ages 5 to 15. Or you can read it to your grandma. Or your grandma can read it to her to your 2-year-old, however that works out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, man, that's going to do it for this episode. We appreciate you guys. God bless you. Peace.